Welcome in, everybody. How we all doing? Timmy's back. How's it going, Pammy? Appreciate you, my guy. We weren't gone. We're just limiting how much use we're getting out of our computer until we replace it, which is coming very soon. We're coming close. We're getting close. But welcome in, everybody. We are here on behalf of the Gran Turismo racing community, and it is round 7 of 8 here today for our Audi TT Cup Series. So we have 2 races remaining in the season, and today is most certainly an important one as we are setting up for championship racing in 2 weeks' time. We have a 1-hour endurance race here for everybody today, and our track today is Dragon Trail Gardens. So we head all the way over to Croatia, and we go into a smaller version of a Dragon Trail circuit here today, but it's a perfect size racetrack for these Audi TT Cup cars. And this one is a feisty little racetrack. It's a very technical mid-speed little circuit, and it's a risk versus reward kind of racetrack, especially at the beginning part of this racing circuit when we head in towards the S's after turns 1 and 2. So what are we going to expect to see here today? I expect to see some pretty good racing. A lot of mistakes being made with the curbing here. The curbing is very high at Dragon Trail Gardens, and these Audis are very low to the ground, so I can foresee the curbing causing a little bit of issues here for some of our racers today, especially as our tires start to degrade. I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. This is a family-friendly broadcast, and we start qualifying in about 4 minutes' time. So while we get to all of that, let's talk about our current standings after 6 rounds of racing. So it is Doug Barrow in the championship points lead with 94 points over Mike 1972, who has 90 points. Pickums is in 3rd place there with 88 points, and Hair Racer just in behind him there with 71 points. We got Subi Mark there in 5th place with 68 points. I couldn't see what that number was. And Happy Pappy just in behind with 47 points in 6th place. Super's right there in 7th with 43 points. Ishmael, after only 2 races, keeping in mind, ladies and gentlemen, is right there with 42 points. Right in the middle of this fight, we got Type R there with 40 points. We got Bar 27 with 37 points to round out our top 10. We got Tap there, Badass in 12th. We've got Ricky Baldy, Ken Neely, and Fast Ginger rounding out the field here. So some of these are part-time drivers and some of these are full-time drivers as well. So welcome in, everybody. We're going to go do the stream metric check here in just a moment to make sure the computer's doing its job. And in the meantime, totally not the one. That's not the right track. We'll just throw a little bit of what the track looks like here for everybody while we get ready for qualifying. So we got a 3-minute warning came down about a minute ago here from race control. So we're going to have, I believe, 1 out lap and 3 flying laps here for qualifying. And then we're going to have a slight delay between qualifying and race here today. And we'll get into that a little bit more kind of as it all sort of breaks down. If you've read the description in the stream, you'll have a pretty good idea what's going on, but we don't want to get into that right this moment. So sim racers do things a little bit differently because we have the capability to do things differently with a little bit of organization. So it's going to be a great day of racing here today as we set up our championship finale in 2 weeks' time. But it's going to be a tough day of racing here today as well at the same time. So should be interesting to see how all the drivers manage everything that's happening behind the wheels of their race cars here today and also in the paddock. It is dynamic weather here in our series as well. This is a potential track for moisture on the racetrack here as well, so we could potentially see some rain. Appreciate you, Chris. Appreciate you, my guy. Oops, I hit the wrong button. There we go. Got Chris coming in with the 1200 Starbone, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute legend, Mr. Reeves. Let's get a hashtag Chris up in the chat for that 1200 star donation towards the PC upgrade here at the page. Appreciate you, my guy. Alright, so we're not getting some chat updating here. I mean, small, minor details, minor details. Alright, so we are almost underway here, as we're just waiting for race control to tell the drivers to go out and qualify. So we do things a little bit differently. We got Amir coming in with that thumbs up on the stream as well. Welcome in, Amir. Hope you're doing good. We don't use a timed qualifying session here like we see from most of our broadcasts here at GT45 Gaming. We have a set amount of laps that the drivers run around the racetrack. Once they've completed X amount of laps, they just park at the end of turn number 1. Once everybody's completed their laps, of course, there's a little pause in between while the drivers set up their cars for racing conditions. Again, today we'll have a slight longer delay in between qualifying and racing here today, but it is definitely for a good cause, and there we go. Qualifying is already starting up here. So let's take you over to the good stuff. Oh, we're resetting lobby. It hasn't started yet. I'm jumping the gun here today. I'm anxious. I like these Audis. I love watching them race. They always provide for great racing action. And it looks like we got 11 drivers on the grid here today as well. So should be a stacked race. Weather at the gardens could be spicy, especially through Sector 3 and the switchback section. Rain discipline. Facts, my guy, facts. Alright. So we're just letting the drivers get out on track here. Let's get rid of all the juicy information and keep the good stuff on the screen for everybody. And here we go. So it is a Doug Burrow that's going to lead us out on track here today in qualifying. And of course, he is our championship points leader here as well, coming into round 7 of 8 today. So the goal for Doug is not to let Mike and Pagums finish ahead of him here today, essentially. Really is the big goal here for Doug. Obviously, the race win is probably the ultimate goal here on his mind, but pole position and fastest lap point is also going to matter. Now, there is no mandatory pit requirements here in the Audi TT Cup Series. They are on the racing hards, that's the required tire. In the factor of course, wet conditions, they do have the option to move to the intermediate wet tire or the racing wet tire, whichever they choose or desire to use, depending on the conditions on track. But other than that, when it's dry condition racing, it is a racing hard. So when we say racing slicks, that's exactly what they are. And 3 times tire wear and 3 times fuel consumption here as well in the series. So every time we go around Dragon Trail Gardens here today, it's going to be 3 laps worth of tires and 3 laps worth of fuel. Tires are most certainly going to be of a concern here today with these front wheel drive cars. It's a fairly twisty racetrack, which means it's going to be very hard on those steering tires, which also happen to be the drive tires due to the fact, again, that it's a front wheel drive. So hot lap here is now officially underway as we come right underneath the banner here, and there we go. Qualifying now counts, so let's see what the racers have for us here today. Subi Mark is very close in behind Doug Burrow here, maybe trying to take advantage of a little bit of slipstream, but again, that's a risk reward thing as well with dirty air factoring in there. So We'll have to wait and see, but very equally paced drivers, these two, so the pace is not a concern for either one of the two drivers here. It's going to come down to making sure we don't make the mistake, and as we say that, Subi Mark launches over the sausage curve there, coming through the S's, and that is essentially what you got to do to really maximize the corner for the best time through the corner. But again, that's one of the parts of the racetrack that is very risk versus reward. Leading around a lap here at Dragon Trail Gardens, Doug gets a fine line through the hairpin there, and as we head up in through the sweeping S's, I guess, he's looking in pretty good shape here. So you can see it's just non-stop turning. You're setting up for the next corner as soon as you get out of a corner here. These drivers have a second to straighten their cars out, and they're right back up, setting in for a quadrupled apex corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. So essentially you're just trying to kind of clip all 4 apexes, like maintain your car momentum around. So now that leads us up into one of the longer straight stretches, leading into a hard braking zone, into the final double apex hairpin here. There's a couple of lines through here. We're definitely going to see attempted battles coming through this corner, especially on exit here. And let's see what Doug has as he comes through, and then we have Mark right in behind, so it's going to be very quick as they come through here. It's going to be pole for Doug right off the bat, obviously first driver through. Mark does not take that away. Hair Razor comes through, he's going to stay in third. We got Pigums here, he's going to move up into pole position. We got Supra here, he's going to jump up into 4th place. Type R stays in 6th, Bar stays in 7th. We got Happy Pappy here now out on track. And as he comes through, it's going to be 8th place. We got Snozzer just in behind, and he's going to stay in 9th for the time being. We got Mike 1972 here. This is our 2nd place championship position driver here coming into round 7 today. He's going to move up into 6th position, and we got a newcomer here coming in late to the series, but very quickly moving up the points. Ishmael Truth here, and I think he's got back-to-back wins with another win there in Bathurst, and it's going to be good enough for 2nd position there on that first flying lap here from Ishmael. So absolutely, Chris, absolutely. We'll read that out in a second, so the viewers can hear what you said there, because I totally agree. All right, so it is asking a lot from the fronts. I agree, the fronts are pulling triple duty braking, steering, and getting the power down, plus this mid-range turbo in this Audi I think it's the mid-range turbo that's in this car here, also giving that torque to the power in these cars, also not helping the front wheels any either, creating a lot of understeer in these cars under high-speed cornering as well. So they're difficult cars to drive. They're beautiful cars, but they're very difficult to race. See if Doug can find an improvement here as he comes through, and Subi Mark does. Subi's going to move up into 2nd place there. Pigums is still going to hold the pole position here with a 140.121. There we go. The drivers are pulling off of corner number 1 here, so it was an out lap and 2 hot laps here at Dragon Trail today, so my apologies. It was 3 total. Got Bar 27 there in 8th place. We got Mike 1972 coming through here. Let's see what he's got, as he is one of our later drivers in the pack, and it's a pretty good time there. It is a 41.1. It's good enough for 5th place there for Mike 1972. We got Ishmael here also still on a flying lap, and that was an improvement as well, and that's going to put him in 3rd position. So it does look like that's going to be our grid. So it's going to be 10-10 Pigums in pole position, with 10-10 Subi Mark in 2nd place, Ishmael Truth from ERA in 3rd position. We got Team Rats Doug in 4th place. We got Mike 1972 in 5th. We got Supra here in 6th place. We got Type R here in 7th. We've got Team Rats Hair Razor in 8th. 10-10 Sim Racing's Bar 27 in 9th position. We got Happy Pappy here in 10th place. And we got Snozzer, aka Action Jackson, in 11th place. Such a cooler name, Action Jackson. We like that name. So it is going to be pole position point here for Pigums. And as I said, something else is going to be happening here. So the drivers are just kind of working their way towards that right now. And normally we would just see the drivers having some fun, blowing some donuts, bumping into each other, chilling out, doing all those kinds of fun stuff at the end of turn 1 here, normally throughout a series. But today is a little bit different. One thing you'll notice here on all the cars here today as well is there's a decal that is not on a lot of the cars normally throughout the series, and there's a reason for that. So if I can hold it together, we'll talk you through it here. But I just need to find the right driver. Alright. I hate doing this. So I said as sim racers we do things a little bit differently because we have the capability to do things a little bit differently. Superboy in first place here right now, leading the pack out as we head to the start finish line, unfortunately has lost his father this week due to cancer. It's a little bit difficult for me because I kind of feel his pain to some extent. I think we all have. This is how we show our support to a member in our community that's down. So as sim racers here, we line up before a big league race and we send them off with a goodbye. So let's take a moment of silence. Let's keep Super as family and our prayers and our thoughts as they go through a very difficult journey over the next days, weeks, months, potentially years. And just know that the sim racing community is here if you need us. We appreciate the moment of silence, everybody, and showing that support for Super and his family. So this is just a young man. He's just entered college, and he's got a lot going on right now in his life. So again, he's got a difficult journey ahead of him, and this is just our way to show our support. So we hope the best as they transition through this time, and we're always here if they need an ear. Agreed. It cannot be easy for a racer to be on track just a few days after something like that, so. But it's at the same time, it's good to stay distracted. It's good to just be with people that you care about, that care about you. And, you know, this little hour and a half of racing for Supra could potentially just be that little escape away from everything that's been going on for the last few days. So whenever Supra is ready, we will start this race. We're having a little bit of latency issues here on the YouTube channel at the moment. We do apologize, folks. Alright, 2 minutes to start, ladies and gentlemen. So, again, respectfully so, giving the driver some time to gather up himself and get prepared for racing today. And we'll see what Supra's got in the tank of that Audi here today. A little extra power maybe in behind that car here for him today to excel up through the pack. So 11 cars are going to start our grid here today, and Supra's going to start right in the mid-pack here. So he's been quite racy in the series with these Audis, and seems to be quite comfortable in this TT Cup car as well. So definitely going to be hoping that he can find it today and get himself up on that podium. We do have the basic beginnings to a very large charity event that was already kind of in the workings from last year for cancer and of course other projects that we have going on for other organizations as well. So stay tuned for more of that. We may get in cooperation here with the Gran Turismo racing community and do something for cancer research here in the near future as well. So always try to show our support where we can. We'll get some information from Supra when he's ready, and we'll see what we can do to help where we can help. Alright. Let's get to some racing, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to some racing. We have TT Pigham's up in pole position here. He's going to be lined up with 1010 Subi Mark in second place. We're waiting for that green flag. Drop kick them tires. Light them fires. Let's go racing. And we are green. And it looks like everybody gets off nice and clean and tidy here. So heading into turn number 1 for the first time in 1 hour endurance racing here today. Again, no mandatory pit stops here in the TT Cup Series. It is the racing hard tires here required in the series this season, and it is dynamic weather, meaning that we don't know what's going to happen. The weather is going to surprise all of us. All right, so move right there from Type R on bar 27 coming out of the S's, but bar 27 there trying to respond back as he gets up into the inside of Type R, leading into the hairpin here in the middle of the racetrack. So side-by-side action here. Bar 27 does have the inside line, but are we going to see a switcheroo coming back from Type R? No, we're not, but we are going to see Mike 1972 get the job done here on Action Jackson for 9th position, and as he tries to respond there, Mike 1972 is going to hold the spot well and continue to charge up in through the midfield if at all possible. He does need to finish as high up, obviously, in the race, being second place in the championship points lead. So it is TT Pigham's here with an early gap, 3/4 of a second over teammate Subimark, and he's got 3/4 of a second over ERA's Ishmael Truth, who's on back-to-back Cup car wins here in the series, leading into round number 7. We got Doug Barrow here in 4th place. He's our championship points leader. He's got a 4-point lead right now over Mike 1972, chasing him in 2nd place overall in the standings. Supra here in 5th place, and right there tucked in behind Doug is up 1 spot here very early on in the race. We got Hair Razor here in 6th place. We got Bar 27 in 7th place there, and very quickly we're all in a single file here, and now it's going to be wait for an opportunity to make the pass kind of racing around Dragon Trail Gardens here. Wait for an opportunity, wait for a mistake to be made from the driver in front for the easy battle. Hard side-by-side battling around this racetrack is going to cost both drivers a lot of time on the racetrack, and that right now is not what they want, with the whole pack obviously so close together. Get it dropped through the field like a rock in water. So Bar 27 here, he's in 7th place right now. He's tucked in right behind Hair Razor as we head up into the S's. And it looks like Type R and Mike 1972 are battling here for 8th place as soon as we can get the camera guy to get us in the right spot. And Mike 1972 is going to move up another position there, and we did miss that. So let's go take a second look at that battle here. As we're heading into the hairpin here, Type R does have the defensive line coming in, but it looks like he was just a little bit harder on the brakes than Mike 1972. Mike 1972 was able to maintain a little more speed on the outside of the corner, and that was what allowed him to get ahead of Type R there for 8th place. So now Mike trying to charge up to Bar 27 ahead in 7th position. Alright, so it is 10-10's Pigham here again with the early race lead, but Subimark is starting to close in. Half a second is the gap. He gets a nice tight entry exit in through that hairpin there at the end of the lap here to start lap number 3, and very tucked into the slipstream there is Subimark. Ishmael here 1 second in behind him, just outside that slipstream range here right now. So the two teammates up in 1st and 2nd doing a good job of trying to open an early gap, if I had to guess is what's going on there. We've got Doug Barrow here in 4th place. We've got Supra here in 5th position as well, and he has not lost touch with Doug at all. He's still within that about 3/4 of a second mark, pardon me. We've got Team Rat's Hair Razor here in 6th place with Bar 27 very close behind there in 7th in the mid-pack, very close. Mike 1972 is extremely close already, so he is closed in very, very quickly here on at the mid-pack here as he's charging up in through the field. So didn't qualify the best, but he is definitely moving here very early on in this race. And side-by-side battle here with Bar 27 now, and this is for, I don't know why, we just lost that battle there. Camera guy deciding that that's not important, I guess. But Mike 1972 gets the job done there, and he had the inside position on Bar 27. We weren't looking at it, and he did already have the position gained. But Bar 27 is going to try to respond here, coming through the quad apex, and he cannot get it done. Mike is going to defend that off again here. Oh, it's a great battle happening right here in the mid-pack. But let's get back up front. We got things happening all the way through the field here, so let's just kind of keep an eye on things here. We've got Pigham still in the lead with Subimark in 2nd place. Ishmael is 1 second in behind. He's kind of closing in a little bit there on the two. Coming through the final corner there, we've got Doug Barrow in 4th place. We've got Supra in 5th place, and just losing touch with Doug a little bit here. We got Mike in 6th position. We got Hair Razor here in 7th place. We got Bar 27 right there in 8th. And he's in a battle here right now with Type R, and that was the Type R closing in on Bar 27 here. And Mike 1972 has also gotten around Hair Razor. So Mike 1972 is not messing around here. He is absolutely moving up the racetrack right now. A huge bounce over the sausage curve right there. And you can see that all the drivers trying to flip that curve, but they're trying to get that sausage curve right in the center of their car, so they don't hit it with those racing tires, because then you can see how hard that the cars bounce off of that curbing here in certain parts of the racetrack, can very quickly throw you out and toss you for a spin. So Pigham's and Subimark here in 1st and 2nd place, and this is not a battle for position currently on the racetrack. This is two drivers trying to drive away from the rest of the pack, and Ishmael here in 3rd position. So with a half-second track limit penalty there as well, so that's never ideal there, and that is going to cost him a little bit more time now on the front too, and that's going to put him in range of Doug Barrow here. As Doug Barrow comes around, you see Super pushing very hard in the background there as he goes very wide coming through the quad hairpin, and Doug Barrow now right on Ishmael here after having to serve that half-second penalty. So Doug Barrow now very securely in the toe of Ishmael up in third place there. You can see Super still just 1.4 seconds in behind there as well, so he is not out of this by any means. You can see the leaders are just entering turn 1 up there as well, so everybody's still relatively close together here. Got Mike 1972 now leading this mid-pack here in 6th position, with Hair Razor in 7th in behind. 6/10 of a second is separating that gap right now. We've got Bar 27 here in 8th place. We've got Type R here in 9th. We've got Snozzer here in 10th position, and Happy Pappy right there in 11th place, and potential battle starting to brew there between those two as well. So the question is, are we going to see a one-stop attempts here today, or are we going to see the two stops here today? Now, as you can see here, the tire wear is somewhat significant. We're only at the end of lap 4, and we've already got a good 10, maybe to 15% wear already into the front tires of these Audi TT Cup cars, and it's fairly similar through the field here. It looks like Ishmael and Doug doing quite a good job actually on those tires. We've got Mike 1972 here, and he's trying to get away from the mid-pack here right now, because if they do catch back up to him, he makes just a small little mistake here. You know, he can get potentially swallowed up in that mid-pack battle again, and that's going to cost him more charge time here to try and gain on that next group of cars up ahead, followed by Ishmael, Doug, and Supra. So he really is working hard right now to try and continue to open the gap up on Hair Razor, Bar, and Type R in behind him here. This gap there is half a second to Hair Razor, so Hair Razor's doing a really good job at sticking with Mike 1972. We got Bar 27 in slipstream just in behind Hair Razor. Then there's a small little break there, just enough that Type R is not getting a free pull there. We got Happy Pappy here in 10th, and we got Action Jackson here in 11th place. No damage on the racing cars, so not sure what happened there, but a little incident separating the two back drivers there. I'm sure we're going to see moments here throughout our 60 minutes today that are going, 50 minutes, pardon me, that are going to change the complexity of this race. So with that being said, we're going to see about 24, 25 laps in the race here today. I thought it was a 1 hour race. I keep getting my series details mixed up here. But it is 50 minutes, 5-0. My apologies at the beginning of the stream. I think I said an hour. So 10 minutes shorter on the clock than in this series than the GR2 series. I keep getting the two mixed up, but it is Pigham's leading the charge here. And he's opened up a little bit of a gap here now on teammate Mark in behind there. It's almost 0.8 of a second, and they have done a pretty decent job at opening the gap up on the final podium position here with Ishmael. Ishmael's doing a good job of trying to keep Doug Barrow at bay and behind. 2 seconds is the gap, so he's definitely not giving Doug any free pull. And Super here's about 1.5 seconds in behind them. That now leaves Mike charging here in 6th place right now, and the gap is 1 point. Let's wait till they get through this final corner here and get back settled onto the straightaway. We'll get a better idea what that gap is, and it's just about 1.5 seconds right now. So again, every driver is still very close to take potential of a mistake made by the driver in front. Bar 27 has gone around. Hair Razor here got moved up into 7th place, but makes the mistake heading into turn number 1. He leaves in that inside line. Hair Razor tried to take advantage of the mistake, but isn't able to get the position. But he does close in on Bar 27 here as we head through the chicane, and this triple chicane is no joke here at Dragon Trail Gardens. And you can see the drivers are really trying to get the best run they can through there, and Hair Razor got the optimal line through there. Bar 27 got all kinds of wrong there, went off track. They're somehow still managing to stay ahead of Hair Razor here. Goes on the defensive track into the hairpin, and this is allowing Type R in behind now to close back in on these two, and Hair Razor is going to look for the over-under here, and it's done very beautifully there. But now it's a side-by-side battle there between Bar and Hair Razor, and we're still side-by-side now as we head into this S sector here. And this is very difficult to navigate side by side. You can see Hairraiser has just opted to kind of lift up on his throttle, check himself up just a little bit to get back in behind bar 27 here, and ultimately try to get a good run through this quadrilateral apex here. And you can see it's a 4 apex corner. So essentially we're doing a full turnaround on the racetrack, a full 180 degrees within 4 corners. So it's an interesting section of racetrack here at Dragon Trail Gardens for sure. And now you can see, is Hairraiser going to take a look here? Hairraiser, I think, may have had a penalty. He's going to go defensive there on Type R. And, ooh, bar again goes a little bit wide. But bar 27 doing a good job at defending the position there. I thought Hairraiser was going to be putting a little bit more pressure there, but Hairraiser's just kind of settled into his race right now. He's not too worried about that battle at the moment. Maybe, again, thinking the same thing along the lines of our race leaders here. Less fighting, more time gaining. So it's almost a second now between Piggums and Subi Mark. Subi Mark picks up a penalty there in the chicane. You can see the displeasure there as he wiggles that car side to side a little bit as he hears it come across the radio from the crews. So that's going to, again, slow the charge down to Piggums up in front. That's going to allow Ishmael to close in fairly significantly here in behind as well. Doug Barrow here, a little bit off the pace, but he has a decent little points advantage over Mark and Piggums. If he were to stay in 4th place right now, he would still, I think, have a small marginal lead over the field leading into our championship finale. But the guy right now that he needs to be more concerned about is the guy that is in 6th place chasing him and Super down right now. That's Mike 1972. This guy has been moving up through the field here all race long. He's just been picking each driver apart one at a time. And he's been doing it very calmly, strategically, and efficiently when he does finally get to the point where he is up to a battle position, so to speak, here on the racetrack. And the gap now between him and Super is only 1.2 seconds, so he's gaining a little bit here and there on the corner here and there, but he's not gaining enough to make a significant difference in that gap right now. Piggums is, again, very comfortably in the lead at the moment, and Subi Mark had that half-second track limit penalty there that has broken the team train there from 1st to 2nd place, in a sense, to continue to open the gap up here. So now Subi Mark finds himself with Ishmael Truth very, very close in his rearview mirror here, only half a second in behind. So basically 3 of these cars in between these two right now, maybe not even, as we head into the hairpin there, and a missed break there, lock it up a little bit. Maybe the wind caught him out, and it's side by side. There's Ishmael, gets a nice tidy corner there, and here we go, leading into the S's, and Subi Mark is going to lose the position here on Ishmael's Truth for 2nd place. So Subi Mark now finds himself in 3rd place, and a half-second penalty is all it takes at this racetrack here. It does not take very long to have another driver close up on you here, because you are constantly underturning or some kind of technical sector condition here, with the exception of the straight after the quadrilateral and the double apex corner leading into the back straight or the start finish line, depending on how you want to look at it. So here we go into the double apex hairpin here to finish out the lap and lead us into lap number 10. And this is a good, healthy battle here between Ishmael and Subi Mark right now for 2nd position. And Piggums, he is just trying to continue to open the gap in the lead right now. So Doug here is trying to take advantage of that little bit of fighting up in front, close the gap back up a little bit. 5 seconds is that gap, with Super still 1.5 seconds in behind. So Super hasn't really been able to close in on Doug, but he has definitely been able to maintain that pace. Right now, Supra's concern is this gentleman right here, Mike 1972. This guy is absolutely flying out here today right now. And he's already up, I believe, 4 or 5 spots from his race start. So starting to close in on Supra here. He's well within slipstream range now after a very good late break coming into the chicane here. He gets a decent little run out of the chicane, and he has closed right up here on Supra, and it's half a second now in between him and the black Audi up in front here. So as we head into the hairpin, is he going to take a look here? Nope, he's just going to settle in behind Supra here and continue charging. So again, he's been very decisive. He's been very strategic about how and when he's going to pass, and when he does make that decision, it's been very precise and very quick. So we got bar 27 here leading up this pack of 3 between him, Hair Razor, and Type R for 7th place right now. He just picked up a half-second track limit penalty there, just as we were watching that battle up in front, and that is definitely not going to be ideal there for bar 27. That's going to drop him 2 spots here on the racetrack. As soon as we come out of the quadrilateral here, the penalty serving zone is leading right up into the braking zone for the final hairpin here. So we come out of this sector here, and there is that penalty serving zone, our electronic enforcement penalty serving zone here at Gran Turismo 7. And what that does is it just cuts the power to the engine so the driver cannot accelerate, and serves the duration of the penalty, and then the power is restored to the car and the driver can continue back up to race pace. So it's a beautiful little feature here that the race officials like to use to control track limit infractions, and it is an instant penalty serve essentially. So love it, a great feature in the game. Bar 27 only loses 1 spot there. I thought he was going to lose 2 potentially with Type R lingering right there in the background, but he only loses to 1. So let's get back through the field here. Let's just check on things. We got 2.5 seconds from Piggums to Ishmael. Ishmael's got 3/4 of a second now over Subi Mark, and may have developed 7 seconds over Doug. And I think Doug has made a mistake here somewhere, because Supra and Mike 1972 are all up in his business here now. Mike 1972 closes up on Supra just a little bit more there, under braking into the hairpin there. And again, Mike 1972 is doing a great job at reading what is happening up in front of him here right now on the racetrack, that's for sure. As these 3 were separated by about a second apart from each other, and now very quickly they are moving and grooving. What a great battle here right now between them. Let's go TT. Just checking on some comments. We're just checking on the streams. It was struggling a little bit on the YouTube channel, so we were just making sure it settled down, and it was done so fantastic news. And it is Supra here, still in 5th place, and these 3 are playing fairly nice here right now. They're aware that even the slightest little bit of uncooperative battling between the 3 of them right now could potentially lose even more time to that podium pack up in front. So they are just kind of settled into the race here right now. Supra goes quite wide there. He just manages to keep that out of the grass. That was a crucial moment right there for Supra. And the only spot that he would have went there if he would have got caught up in that grass, unfortunately for him, would have been that right side wall, and that would have been a devastating way to start the 19-minute mark of his race here today. But instead, he keeps it together. Mike gains a ton of time on him. He's right on his rear bumper here now. Mike's going to hold that outside line. And again, Mike 1972 has been really good under the brakes here today on the racetrack, and again on the outside of this hairpin. That's twice we've seen him make the same style pass there. A little bit of contact between the 2 drivers. They're just getting out of the exit, but no harm, no foul between them there. And Mike 1972 is going to put the charge on Doug Burrow, and Supra is going to settle in behind. Maybe that's a good thing. Supra can maybe follow Mike 1972 through Doug there, but Supra looked like he was playing nice there. I don't think he was necessarily looking to battle Doug right there, but this is a feisty battle here between Hair Razor Bar and Type R here. Now Bar 27 gets a really good run on Hair Razor there. A little bit of contact between the 2, but no damage it looks like on either one of them. And they continue on around the racetrack, but Type R is all over the back of Bar 27 here, as well as they come through the final part of the quadrilateral here, leading into the final hairpin. And Hair Razor has not been able to shake these 2 here for the last couple laps. So between Hair Razor and Bar, they've been kind of switching 7th and 8th place around, and Type R has just been chilling out in 8th place, just kind of with his popcorn, enjoying the show and waiting for his moment to strike here. So Hair Razor is going to be the first of our drivers to make a pit stop. So here we go. Pit stops are underway here, and I was wondering when we were going to see a pit stop here from our drivers, and it's going to be interesting to see how these strategies play out here. Just kind of making some notes. So I don't think that a no stop is in play here. We're not at the halfway point of this race yet. Most of the drivers are under that half tank, so we are going to see at some point a stop for fuel at bare minimum from the drivers. But as you can see from the tire condition here too, I would assume we're going to see a set of sticker fresh racing hard rubber going on these cars as well with that stop. So it's Supra here in 6th place, and these three are still chilling in a line here, running up the racetrack, and the goal really is to try and close in on the podium pack up in front here, especially for Dugborough. Dugborough right now is going to be fairly pleased that these guys aren't fighting him hard tooth and nail, because he knows what's at stake here today leading into one more round of racing for the Cups cars, and with only 4 points separating him and the driver literally chasing him right now in 5th place. There's a lot on the line here, so I mean, Mike is, I'm sure there's lots going through his mind here right now too. I'm sure he would like to get around Dugborough and then try to make more positions up the racetrack here as well to try and get some points gain here. But at the same time, you kind of gotta play the cards that you're dealt with sometimes. Right now, this is the hand that he's looking at, and well, it'd be interesting to see how he plays it. But there's about half of the race left, a little over, as we come through to start lap number 14 here today. And I thought it was going to be a 25 lap race. We're looking more along the lines of 30-31 here, judging by the times on the racetrack here. So again, I was just a little off there on my assumption today. Educated guess. I wasn't that educated, I guess. Alright, bar 27 here. He's in 7th place. Because of the pit stop from Hair Razor, this is now just a two-way battle between him and Type R. Happy Pappy's here in 9th, aka Action Jackson is here in 10th place, aka Action Jackson. Look at me go today. And Team Rad's Hair Razor here in 11th after his pit stop. So interesting, he picked quite early there, and I'm not wondering if he just didn't want to get out of that situation in that three-way line of cars or get into some clean racing air. And I'm not wondering if that's why he opted to make that early stop, but now it seems to me that he's going to have to make a splash for fuel at some point here before the end of this race as well. So a second stop potentially coming for Hair Razor here, and if the rest of these guys only do a one-stop strategy here today, then that is not going to be ideal potentially for that driver, but we'll see how it works out. Got Subi Mark here in 3rd place. It's still chasing Ishmael. Ishmael's about 2.5 second gap. He's got 2.8 seconds over Pigham, so the gap has not really changed much between 1st and 2nd place since Ishmael has moved ahead of Subi Mark there, so very equally paced those two. We got Dugborough here. It's about 9 seconds to the podium here right now on the racetrack as they come around the start-finish line to start lap 15. Mike 1972 still chilling right there in 5th place, not putting any immediate pressure there on Dugborough. We got Supra there in 6th position. I'm sure that, of course, the pit window is probably starting to linger here on the racers as well, so Mike may just be playing pit strategy here as well a little bit, maybe do the work in pit lane instead of on the racetrack and not cost himself extra time doing it on the racetrack. Not sure what's going through the crew's mind here right now, but he is definitely doing his thing here right now in 5th place. And oh, there it is. He is going to get the inside track there, but Doug Burrow's going to bring it back with the over-under, and we're side by side right there. Doug seen that coming, seen that move coming, and as they rub tires a little bit there as we head into these uphill S's, this is still a very feisty battle. Doug's going to take another look on the outside here. He's going to try and get a run uphill here as we head into the quadrilateral, but it looks like Mike 1972 is going to get the job done. And we're going to have to go take another look at that in just a moment here, because this battle's not quite over yet here, as Doug Burrow is very tucked in right now in behind Mike 1972, and this is good for Mike 1972. This is at least 1 point gain right now on that championship points lead here, as there's only a 4 point difference between him and Doug Burrow in behind in 5th place. So every position matters here today, and Mike 1972 knows that he had an opportunity. He took advantage of it, and now he's going to come into pit lane. So that was interesting to choose to do that then. So let's go take another look at that battle between the two here. And we just missed it there. A little bit of contact there between Doug and Mike, and that contact was just enough to slow the charge of Doug Burrow there. And we really wanted to see that over-under from Doug Burrow there. But unfortunately, we just waited a little too long within the replay there to catch that part of it. So Supra is also in pit lane, so we are starting to see a pit stop sequence transition through our racing group here today, and it's Pigum still in the racing lead. Ishmael has cut into that lead by about 0.6 of a second here as well. We've got Subi Mark here in third place, and he's lost about that time that Ishmael has cut into our race leader. Got Doug Burrow here in fourth place, and the gap continues to grow there a little bit on our fourth place driver. And now, no pressure. He's got Type R 12 seconds in behind, so now Doug can really just try to focus on trying to maximize the laps with what he's got left of his race car before he decides to make his pit stop. We got Happy Pappy here in 6th. We got Snozzer battling it out with Supra here in 7th and 8th place. So Supra has just made a pit stop. Remember, he was in pit lane there last time around. And this is where he's come out in the racing field after that pit stop. So he is most certainly in an active battle here, and almost a three-way battle right there between him, Action Jackson, and Mike 1972. So Mike's 1972 has also made that pit stop. He's going to take a look up the inside of Supra there. So Supra did jump Mike 1972 in pit lane there essentially. And Action Jackson is not having any of this with these two right now. He is defending the charge on both of these drivers off. He is lagging a little bit, which is probably making it a little bit difficult for the racers to determine exactly how much room is there, but they are managing this very, very well. Happy Pappy's just up ahead there. And again, Mike 1972 going really deep into the corner late on those brakes, and he is going to easily get the job done on Action Jackson on the outside there. And Action Jackson is going to come into pit lane there and give up that position to Supra. So Supra didn't have to fight for the position. He's just going to get the freebie there, and that might be good as he's trying to track down Mike 1972 up in front of him there, pardon me. So Ishmael now with the lead of the race as 1010 Spigums has made his pit stop, so has Subi Marks. Type R has yet to make a stop. We've got Mike 1972 who's made his, Supra's made his, Doug has made a stop. Hair Razor we seen make a stop a little while ago. We got Bar 27 here in 9th place. We got Pappy in 10th position after making his pit stop, and Action Jackson coming out after his pit stop there. So right now it is Ishmael here with the race lead, and I'm not sure how much longer this driver is going to opt to continue to go all around the racetrack here, but tires are in really good shape compared to the rest of the field at this point in the race, and he's got a fairly significant amount of fuel left in this car yet. So I mean, there's no immediate pressure for this driver to come in unless the car just isn't feeling what he's hoping for here. And there we go, that must be exactly the call here. He's just going to do the 1 lap extra, come in for the overcut here. So as we head back to Pigums, who should take the race lead back here from Ishmael, but again, keeping in mind that gap between the two drivers was only about 2 seconds before this pit stop sequence started. So the question is the overcut or the undercut the right strategy here today on this racetrack, and how far is that going to separate the two drivers here as they come out? Now Ishmael's on the way out, and Pigums is at race pace. Now Ishmael is going to have the rights to the corner there, but Pigums goes in well ahead of Ishmael there, and he is going to take the race lead back from Ishmael after the pit stop sequence, but that gap has diminished quite a bit here. So it was 2.1, 2.2 seconds before that series of pit stops started, and that gap is now just under a second here. So Ishmael's overcut gaining him some time there after that pit stop sequence. We got Subi Mark here in 3rd place. He's 3.2 seconds in behind those two as well. He's got 10 seconds to Mike 1972 in 4th position right now. So Mike 1972 is in a great spot at the moment the way the race stands. He's ahead of Doug Burrow, who he's chasing for the championship, overall championship points lead. Now that gap is 4 points coming into today. Right now, the fastest lap point is off the table. It is in Subi Mark's pocket at the time being, and pole position belongs to 1010 Sim Racing's Pigums. So those bonus points are off the table right now for these two drivers. So this solely comes down to how far ahead, if Mike 1972 can finish ahead of Doug Burrow today, can he finish ahead of Doug Burrow, and how many points is that going to gain him? If the race were to finish right now, I believe that would be a 1-point separation. One way or the other between Doug Burrow and Mike 1972. So if the race continues at this exact trend right now, it will be a finale showdown for a championship title, and potentially between 3 or 4 drivers as well. So But Mike 1972 and Doug Burrow are going to be definitely in the conversation in 2 weekends' time here right now as this race stands for the top discussion on the championship and which one of the two drivers is got what it takes to bring that home. Doug Burrow looking for his 5th championship here from the Gran Turismo racing community, and Mike 1972 looking for his 1st. So which driver is more hungry is really what it's going to come down to here next weekend. But right now, we still got a race underway here. We still have 18 minutes and 40 seconds left, and anything can change on this racetrack yet between those two drivers and where their position on the track is as well. So we are far, far from over here. That is all just speculation right now until we have taken the checkered flag here today. But it is Piggums, and he's trying to open the gap back up on Ishmael here. It's 1.3 seconds over Ishmael in 2nd position. And Subi Mark here in 3rd place, and he is slowly but surely gaining on Ishmael there as well. Little bits of here and there. We've got Mike 1972. The gap is 10 seconds to Subi Mark, and we're going to be keeping an eye on that gap as well. Supra has 3 seconds in behind Mike 1972 here, and a big moment right there as he goes a little bit wide. The curbs almost hooked the car there, but he does a great job of keeping it in the right direction, keeping it on that tarmac surface. But what it did do is allow Doug Burrow to close in a 1.5 seconds with that mistake there. And as we lead up in towards the final hairpin here, Doug Burrow is almost in striking distance of Supra here coming into the corner. So see if he can close up under braking and get through the corner here. See if Supra can gain a little bit of that gap back off Doug Burrow as he come around here. And Doug gets a nice tidy exit there. And I think Doug is going to get the better run out of the corner, and that is the case. So potential battle coming here for 5th place. So let's just go take a quick look through our field here as we got that battle for the lead starting to develop as well. Keeping our eyes on that. Hair Race is 5 seconds in behind the 7th. We got Bar there is in 8th place. We got Type Bar in 9th, Pappy in 10th, and Action Jackson here in 11th place. So lots going on here on the track right now, but it is going to be all eyes on the front end here for sure. I think today the way things are shaking up here, Subi is really starting to try to close in on 1st and 2nd place there as well. So what he needs right now is for those two just to have a small little quick battle or a little tussle for 1st place there, and that's going to bring him right into the discussion. That's how close he is right now. Mike 1972 in 4th place, and right now he's probably hoping for a little bit of help here from Supra, trying to keep Doug Burrow in behind him here to the end of the race, so Mike can again just get that extra point gain on Doug Burrow leading into finale in 2 weeks' time. So 4 points separating the two drivers for the championship here as we head into round number 7, and this is an important battle right here for Doug as well, and I'm sure that he's aware of it. He is probably more than aware that he's going to need to get around Supra here to get back in to the hunt for Mike. Whether or not he can catch Mike 1972 today, I think is besides the point at this point for Doug Burrow to point. And what's really necessary here for Doug now is to stay ahead of Supra, so it's only 1 position back of Mike 1972 instead of 2. So that was an important battle. That was an important pass right there from Doug Burrow. And as he gets the job done, he now is in 5th place and chasing Mike 1972, who's now up the road by about 3.5 seconds ahead here. So there we go. Lots of things changing here on this racetrack today. It is Piggums here for the race lead with Ishmael Truth here from the Esports Race Asylum group as well. And these two are going to be at some point fighting for the race lead here. So very, very equally paced drivers here so far today, and that's been showed on the racetrack here so far. But now there's nothing in between Piggums and Ishmael here but a mere slipstream, and given the right run and a little bit of a slow run from potentially Piggums up in front, and this becomes nose to tail for the race lead here. So Piggums is more than aware, obviously, that Ishmael is back there. Ishmael is more than aware of Piggums' pace and vice versa, so I think this is really going to shape up to be a good battle. if it develops into anything more than it is currently on the racetrack right now. Ishmael has a lot of time on the clock right now too as well, keeping in mind 14, a little over 14 minutes still. You're not going to win the race until you take the checkered flag first, and that checkered flag's not going to wait for at least another 14 minutes here for some of the drivers. So, is the time right now? The time may not be right now to make something happen there. And again, he could just be maintaining a specific distance behind our race leader for the time being, and then we may see the pressure start to mount with 5 minutes remaining in the race at that point. Great little transition here between Supra and Doug Barrow right now, and I was just enjoying watching the two race so close together. And you know, Doug has spent a lot of time with Supra over the last 2 or 3 years here in the sim racing community at GTRC, helping him refine his racecraft, his skills, his pace, his you know, all the parts that are involved in sim racing. And to see him driving nose to tail with his teacher right now, in a sense, is pretty cool actually. So it just goes to show that he's doing a great job at picking up what Doug is laying down, and I mean, he's right here racing with Doug. So I do apologize about the silence there. I was just kind of enjoying that moment, so to speak. Right now, you know, you have those moments where you spend time with certain members of the community helping and all that. So when you get into a competitive event like we have here today from the GTRC, and the student is literally putting the pressure on the teacher, that it's actually a great moment for the teachers. Even though he doesn't want to be passed by that driver, obviously, because he's got a championship on the line here, it is still one of those great moments to see that, you know, progression in the time has been very warranted, and Doug's done a great job getting Supra really dialed into his sim racing here, especially this season. This has been some of the best racing we've seen out of Supra in past seasons here at the GTRC. He's just night and day this season in his racing. It's fantastic. We got Ishmael here, and Ishmael is just doing exactly what I figured he's doing right now. Ishmael is a smart racer, so is Piggums. These two are, I mean, elite tier racers, and they're both A+ driving rated racers. I mean, the only rating that is above an A+ rating in Gran Turismo is an S, and you only get that S if you're a esports competitor. So, I mean, basically they're in amongst that big elite group of racers here in the platform that are just absolutely blazing fast and understand the game, understand racing, understand cars, and understand how to have something there at the end. So we are going to be in for a treat between these two, I think, here today for this race lead before this thing's over. I'm just, every time I'm so worried to leave the two here, because I know the moment that I leave, something's gonna happen here. And you can see CB Mark is only 3 seconds in behind still, again, first and second place here, so he is still in this conversation here as well. One little two-corner battle or something from our race leaders here, and CB Mark is going to be right back at the mix. And Ishmael tried to get a good run there. He tried to really shorten the exit of the hairpin there in the middle of the racetrack to try and get a good run out of the corner to try and put some pressure there on Piggums. I think Ishmael might have been thinking about trying to get a move done here, but it took a little too much of the curb there. That actually unsettled his race car there, so when he came off the curbing, it bounced his car essentially under the throttle, and it kind of seen a little bit of the rear end break free there on Ishmael. He did a great job at gathering it up very, very quickly. But that cost him the potential opportunity there to try and put the move on Piggum. So let's see if he does something here into the final corner. It looked like to me he was setting up a move coming out of the hairpin there. He must have figured that he is a little bit stronger, maybe through his sector right there, than Piggums potentially, because we haven't seen Ishmael really apply a lot of attacking pressure in a sense yet. And I mean, he is right up TT's Pigham's doorstep right now. I mean, he is sitting on his doormat right now going, hello, I'm right here. And, you know, again, just a little bit of mind games maybe with Pickham's, but nope, there it is. He is going to move up the inside into turn one there, and I wasn't sure if he was going to make the move there, so Ishmael Truth is going to take over the racing lead here with 8 minutes and 57 seconds left on lap number 25, and now it's going to be Pickham's job to play the game, figure out the best time to try and get it done, and of course, not lose pace with Ishmael here up in front, but great move there from Ishmael, and Subi Mark there didn't gain anything on those two with that little transition there, as he's still 3.2 seconds in behind. Mike 1972, here we go. These three have closed up, so I'm not sure what's happened. I don't know if Doug and Super have just closed in on Mike 1972 over the last few laps here, or if Mike 1972 made a fairly rare mistake that we see out of this driver here, and that has allowed Doug and Super to really close up here. But heading into the hairpin, there we go. We're going to see the over-under attempt here again from Doug Barrow, and again, he just can't quite outpower Mike 1972 out of the corner there. And we are nose to tail here through 4th, 5th, and 6th place right now, so three-way battle here. Kind of, sort of. We're keeping our eyes on things here. We still have Piggums and Ishmael up in front there, nose to tail as well, as they head around into the final corner of lap number 25 here. But we're going to stick with this mid-pack battle here for a moment between Mike 1972, Doug Barrow, and Supra. And again, this is an important battle here. This is an important battle for Mike to stay ahead of Doug, and this is an important battle for Doug to get ahead of Mike to give him an extra cushion for the championship points. Ultimately, if Doug can finish ahead of Mike 1972 here today, then he may have a very good chance at locking that championship down. But you can see a braking error made there by Doug Barrow coming into the hairpin, went really, really wide there. And Mike had the easy defend there. And now that's actually giving Mike a nice, comfortable little 1 second gap on Doug Barrow as well. And with 7 minutes left in the race, that is, well, that's breathing room at this point in the race right now for Mike 1972. So it is Ishmael and Piggums here, and the gap is only about a half a second between the two here, so not too much has changed here except for the fact that Ishmael's now leading the race and Piggums is in second. We've got Subi Mark here in third place, 3.4 seconds in behind. We got Mike still trying to hold the charge off from Doug Barrow and Supra here in 5th and 6th place, and everybody's separating a little bit there. I think a little bit of penalties being doled out to a couple of the drivers that are also not helping. We got bar 27 right on the rear wing of Hair Razor here, and we're side by side coming into the hairpin. This is a battle for 7th place here in our race today, and Hair Razor should be able to get a good run on the outside there. He had a lot of track to get the power down, and he is going to hang it in there with bar 27. Puts him on the outside, but it's going to give him the inside into the next corner. It's going to put bar on the outside, and they're just going to keep switching the line here as they come through. But bar 27 ultimately gets the ideal line through the important corner. He gets that inside line coming out of that final S leading into the quadrilateral here, and that did allow him to stay ahead of Hair Razor here, but he goes a little bit deep coming into the quad here, and Hair Razor's got a nice run through there, but that curb unsettling his car slightly, and a good healthy battle here right now between bar 27 and Hair Razor for 7th and 8th position. So it's Type R here in 9th. We got Pappy here in 10th position as well, and we got Action Jackson here in 11th place. So it is Ishmael here, and the gap is about 3/4 of a second now on Piggums. So Ishmael is working hard at trying to keep Piggums at bay from responding after that battle for the race lead just a couple laps ago. And we got about 5 minutes left here on the racetrack as well. So it is Subi Mark here in 3rd position, and he's lost a little bit of time there recently, so a little mistake may be made by Subi Mark here on the racetrack as well. And Mike 1972 here in 4th position. He's got the gap at about 2 seconds here over Doug Barrow in 5th place right now, and Supra here in 6th place. We got bar 27 here in 7th place. We got Hair Razor here in 8th. We got Type R here in 9th. We got Pappy in 10th place. And we got Schnaza, aka Action Jackson, rounding out our field here. Sorry, I just love saying Action Jackson. I can't help it. His name's fun. Sorry, Action Jackson. Appreciate you, my guy. Alright, so it is Ishmael here in the race lead, and like I said, winding down here, just over 4 minutes remaining. So we're gonna see, as our race leaders come across, we're gonna see 3, including the lap we're on here. So the gap is about a second now on Ishmael here from Piggum. So Ishmael's doing everything he needs to do right now to continue to ease the pressure from second place right now. We got Mark 6 seconds in behind, so Piggum's focus is to try and re-engage that battle for the race win here today. We've got Mike 1972 here in 4th place. We got Doug in 5th position, and 1.7 seconds is the gap. We got Supra here in 6th place. We got Bar 27 in 7th place, and Hair Razor is giving him the business here. These two are still scrapping tooth and nail right now for 7th and 8th position here on the track. And Hair Razor is going to have the inside line heading into turn number 1 here. Bar 27 is going to have to hold it on the outside line. And I should give Hair Razor the position, but Bar gets a good hold on the outside there, and we're still side by side as we head into the chicane here on lap number 28, and Bar 27 does have the position again, coming into the right corner with the right inside position. He's going to defend off Hair Razor once more here for 7th place. 3 more minutes here, and this is a very feisty battle here between Hair Razor and Bar 27. And oh, Hair Razor is going to play a little game. He's going to take a little look, get some clean air in the race car, see if Bar is going to respond to that, and Bar just holds his line, doesn't even bat an eyelash there. But Hair Razor absolutely closes right back in on the back end of Bar 27 here. And it is getting interesting here in our races. We are coming close to an end. The track conditions have been fantastic here today. Great sunshiny conditions here for our race fans, and tire-eating weather conditions here for our racers. But some great racing being had all up and down the racetrack here, and Bar 27 doing a pretty good job at defending here on Hair Razor, but Hair Razor tucked right in as we come through the quad here into the final hairpin, and Bar's going to go semi-defensive here, decide nope, we're going to take the racing line. He can't quite get in there yet. And Hair Razor does a great job of closing up on Bar 27. Bar closes out that second apex, make sure he doesn't get a nose in there, and he is going to, again, defend from Hair Razor. But that battle is going to really start to kick off here very soon, as Ishmael and the Piggums now are about halfway through lap number 29. The gap is 1.1 seconds. We got Subi Mark there in 3rd place. We got Mike 1972 here in 4th position. It's going to be the final lap, I think, for the rest of the field in behind our podium here. Bar 27 still just barely holding off Hair Razor here right now in 8th place. This is definitely going to be one of those battles we got to keep our eye on here. And Bar 27 is not going to take the risk over that curbing there where Hair Razor took the risk, but it didn't seem to gain Hair Razor too much on Bar there that time around. So let's stick with it here. Let's stick with it. We've got Ishmael coming through here right now, and as he comes around to start his final lap of the race, he's got 1.3 second gap over 1010 Sim Racing's Piggums here in 2nd position. So these guys are going to get some gains on Doug here in 5th place here as well, if this race finishes exactly how it stands. Subi Mark here also chasing for that championship here as well. He has a few points to make up, so some of these drivers are in very good positions here. Doug Burrow is in a tough spot here. He's going to be defending that championship title leading into the final round, and like I said, it could potentially be between 4 drivers here in 2 weeks time. So Mike 1972 is going to get that extra lap here as he comes around. And where is Doug? So is Doug Burrows Supra also going to get the extra lap? He is, but he's picked up some damage there, so that explains why he's fallen off pace just a little bit. So we got Bar 27 and Hair Razor here, and I think they're going to get another lap here as well as they come across. Are just going to beat the timer there, and so is Type R. So it's going to be a 10th and 11th place finish here for Happy Pappy and Action Jackson here as they come up the start finish line here. And there we go. Pappy will take the checkered flag here. Action Jackson will also take that checkered flag here as we come around on lap 29. And we'll head back to the rest of our racing group here that are now just finishing up their races here on lap number 30. So the reason why we see the split finish like this is because when the drivers cross the finish line due to the timers. So our 10th and 11th place drivers, the timer was finished. So that is why they took the checkered flag when they crossed on lap number 29. These drivers crossed well before the timer was out, so of course that is not a checkered flag. And it is going to be ERA's Ishmael with 3 back-to-back-to-back wins here now in the TT Cup Series. Bigham's going to follow very closely behind in second place, and it's going to be Subi Mark here taking a third place finish here today, and a good race coming from him. And I can't help but feel that that half-second track limit penalty is what took him out of this race for a potential win today. Because other than that, none of these drivers didn't really make a lot of mistakes here today, through basically fourth place. So Mike 1972 is going to do everything he can do here today. He's going to gain some points there on Dugborough, who is going to finish just in behind there in fifth place. Supra is going to hold on to sixth place. Congratulations, young man. Great race from you today under tough conditions. We got bar 27 here. He is going to hold the charge, a hair raiser off, and he is going to hold on to seventh place. Some good defensive racing from this driver here at the end of the race. Hair raiser coming through, and Type R going to take the checkered flag for the final driver here to take that checkered flag in round number 7 today, ladies and gentlemen. GG to the racers. Another great Audi TT Cup race, but it is going to be Ishmael Truth going from third to first to take the race victory here today. So let's get those racing results up on the screen. It's going to be Ishmael Truth in first, with Pickham's in second place. Subi Mark is going to take third place, but he is going to take that bonus fastest lap point. Pickham's is also going to take that pole position point away from Doug and Mike 1972 up in the top of the standings. Mike 1972 is going to finish one spot ahead of Doug in fourth place, and Doug is going to finish in fifth. Supra finishing in sixth place, racing for his dad today. We love you, my man. We're thinking of you, my guy. Lots of support from the community. Got bar 27 here in 7th place. We got Team Rad's Hair Raiser in 8th position. We got Type R here rounding it out in 9th place. Happy Pappy finishing in 10th position. And Snozzer, aka Action Jackson, rounding out that field in 11th place. So great job here to our racers. So you know what that means next, ladies and gentlemen. That means we head to podiums. And we'll see how many of our racers we get here today. Some of the racers that are in our podium booth here today may or may not have time to come and chat with us, as they have other events that they need to get to. So we'll see. I went to the wrong one. There we go. All right, so we'll just sit tight here with in our booth here for a minute, and let the drivers, of course, get all sorted out. They got to get out of their race cars, all that great stuff, to come and talk with us. So we'll give them a moment to they just ran a 50-minute race with some emotions flying a little extra here today, obviously. So definitely gonna need a moment to get themselves unstrapped. And we cannot save the replay. We're out of room. All right, we do have a race winner with us here. He just popped in. We're just going to take a couple of moments here. I don't think we'll see Pickham's. We typically don't see Pickham's because he's got something, some other racing events that he's got going on, usually Saturday afternoon, so he's usually off to the next racetrack. And Mark sometimes has time, sometimes does not have time to join us in the booth. It all depends on when racing finishes for him. Obviously, he's in the UK, so it's much later there than it is here. It's 9 p.m. currently right now in the UK. People have families behind the scenes, so we understand that. So let's go have a chat with a race winner here. All right, just give me a moment here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. We do have our race winner here with us, and it's kind of fitting. We didn't get a chance to talk with our podium last round of racing 2 weeks ago due to the stream not being up and running, but we had a great race at Mount Panorama 2 weeks ago where Ishmael came out victorious there, and now we're finding him coming out victorious here again this week. But it was a tough victory here for him today. He had to plan his attack out. He had to plan that race out in the final stint and making the move when he felt was the right time to make the move, and it was most certainly got the job done, just holding off the charge of Piggums with about 1.5 second gap at the end of the race for a great race victory. So congratulations on a pretty strategic race, in my opinion, here today, and talk us through how it was out there.
Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for having me, first of all. Sorry. Yes, as you said, it was a strategic race because with these cup cars, it's easy to lose yourself with the battle and stop seeing the big picture. I didn't have a particularly, mm, let's say, decent qualifying, but I tried to stay with the top two. Then I got a penalty, but tried to, let's say, stay with the path, stay with the plan, don't get any more penalties. Then I think the P2 got a penalty and I passed him. Then I didn't want to pit at the same time with Pigeons because I didn't want to battle at the early stages. So I tried the overcut, sorry. I was confident with my tire and I closed, I think, a second of a gap when I exit the pits. And as you said before my speech, I tried to wait, stay put for the decent opportunity. And at the T1, I saw a gap because in the previous laps, I observed that he was doing a out-in-out strategy for that corner. So I thought the inside would be open if I'm close. And I put the car in the correct place, and Pigeons is always aware, saw me and gave me space. It was, as always, a race with mutual respect with him. And after that, I tried to stay in front, not get any penalties, not understeer off the track, etc. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Congratulations also to the other podium drivers as well. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Absolutely, and coming in a little bit late into the season here, this season for the Cup Series, with only 3 races in the bag, very quickly finding yourself moving up the standings. Here for a full season, potentially think you'd be right there fighting for the championship leading into the finale in 2 weeks' time.
It's a bit too much tall order. I don't think so, but it's always fun racing with these guys, with you, with this organization, and I just try to enjoy, have nice racing with other players, other drivers. And after the race, if we can shake hands, congratulate each other, and wait eagerly for the next week, that's all enough for me.
Well, very well said, and there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The man just likes to have good, fun, clean competition out there, and you do it very well. But like I said, it was a very great strategic race coming from me here today. Piggums and Subi Mark there really worked hard to try and kind of break away from the pack early on in the race, but like you said, he picked up that track limit penalty, which allowed you to get into striking distance and get the job done. And I do feel that if it wasn't for that moment on the racetrack for our third place finisher, he may very well have had an opportunity to try and battle for the race win here today too as well. But all in all, very strategic from our top 4 or 5 drivers here today. Great drives by all of those drivers up at the front end of the pack, and this man standing at the top of the podium. So congratulations on a, again, great strategic race here today. And the final remarks and shout outs to the viewers watching at home.
First of all, as always, I would like to thank you personally and other organizers for allowing this to happen. As I always say, people don't see that or understand that, but it really takes a time. And you guys spending your well-earned free time to provide us this decent racing for both us drivers and the viewers as well. also, again, congratulations to the podium drivers as well. It's a tricky track, especially for a front-wheel drive car. You need to feather the throttle, always stay focused, don't get any penalties. And thanks also for the viewers, because I mean it's always nice to race with viewers. It motivates us well, and hopefully we, let's say, how can I say, provide them nice racing. And the procedures at the beginning, it was very touching. I was proud to be part of such an occasion. I mean, we all know this is our, let's say, pastime activity. There is always the real life situation, and sometimes things are, let's say, very bleak, very unfortunate. And hopefully the guy understood that we are here for them, this little community. We are, let's say, miles, countries apart from different regions, different backgrounds, different races, whatever. But at this time of the week, we are here together and we care about each other. So hopefully he can feel a bit more better at the end of the day. Thank you.
Absolutely, very, very well said, and we appreciate you and your kind words, and thank you so much, and congratulations on another well-performed race here today, and we'll let you get back to that clubhouse and go celebrate with that great team.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon.
Cheers. Our race winner, ladies and gentlemen, ERA's Ishmael Truth, an absolutely fantastic racer. We do have one of our race control officials and one of our admin staff here. He is going to be, I think, here to speak on behalf of the missing drivers, is usually how this works. So we've got Team Rad's Hair Raiser up in the commentary booth here to say a final few words here before we send things off today. So the floor is yours, Hair Raiser. If he's there. We'll just give him a moment here, ladies and gentlemen. He may have just stepped away for a moment. Again, everybody, our racers, our organizers.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
you're okay,
Can
here,
you hear me
racer.
now?
Yeah.
How is
We're
just talking away and nothing's happening?
we're all good. Again, the floor is yours. As usual, when we're missing our interviewees, we have one of our race control officials come in and step in and speak on their behalf. So the floor is yours, and welcome in.
Thank you. First of all, I was saying just before I lost the mic, very touching words, Ismail, and we welcome you to the family. Well done, buddy, on your win. Congratulations. We enjoy you racing with us and as a family, and also, as you can tell from the start, that we did it for one of our own, and we always do because it's a big thing nowadays, and we obviously real world and real situations come into play. But yeah, I'm here really on the for Subi for Mark, and his race was well fought. But he just wanted to say that he absolutely loves these cars and the tyres. He says they're the best thing on this car, and he races it really well, and he loves it, and he wishes more racing like this, and we all do. So well done to Mark as well, and also was it Piggums that came on the podium as well?
Yeah, Pickham's finishing second. That's correct.
Yeah. Well done to Piggums as well. Well done, guys. And well done to all the drivers involved. Well done. Congratulations.
Absolutely, and today was a little bit tough, obviously with the starting proceedings and showing our support and our respects to one of our fellow community members here in the community. Lots of emotions running high, leading into the race. Obviously, probably pre-race as well in the paddock. I'm sure things were a little bit different today in the racing. So, you know, I think that the racers did a really great job of collecting themselves together and still coming out to do what they came here to do, and that's obviously try to gain points towards the championship, but also had a really great, clean race to show support to Super here today. So to Super and his family, the GT45 Gaming community, and 1010 Sim Racing is behind you as well, my man. You guys are not alone. You have a whole community behind you guys between Gran Turismo Racing community and GT45 Gaming. I'm sure many others. So we're sending our vibes, we're sending our thoughts, and you're definitely in our prayers through this tough time. And F you cancer, man. I don't know what else to say. It's a vicious thing, and I know that many of the viewers watching or that are going to watch later feel this. I'm sure each and every one of us have a personal story when it comes to the C word, to the cancer bug, and it always hits home a little bit closer when something like that happens. So we love you guys out there. We appreciate you all. And on behalf of myself and Gran Turismo Racing community, we'll see you all next week for Group 2 racing. We've got our second last race of the Group 2 series coming up. Those standings are starting to tighten up as well. And after our officiating is done here in this Cup Series, I got to tell you, we are in for a 3 or 4-way fight for a championship here from the Cup Series in 2 weeks' time. So when you guys threw this together, Hair Razor, did you see the championship coming down to a mere point separation in finale day?
No, not really, but we've got some cracking drivers out there, so it's going to be phenomenal. Looking forward to it, and I think the other drivers will too.
Absolutely. And any final remarks from yourself?
Yeah, just well done, everybody. We love you all. Thank you very much, and cheers, Tim. You're a star.
Appreciate you, my guy. Thanks for everything you do behind the scenes to keep things going for the community. And we'll talk to you hopefully on the podium next week, my man.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, great day of racing. Kind of a tough day all at the same time, but just remember, there's always somebody out there that's maybe having a bigger struggle than we are. So we got to take it in stride. We got to take it second by second. We got to take it minute by minute. We got to take it day by day. Life is unpredictable. It tosses curveballs all the time. It kicks us when we're down. The best thing I can do and the best advice I can give to anybody who's struggling with whatever it may be, whether it's a loss or something else in your life, you can't keep it in. You have to find somebody you can trust, somebody who cares about you or you care about, and just talk to them. And just that discussion, just opening that discussion is the starting process to healing, the starting process to hopefully a solution, and also a starting process to closure in some cases as well. So we love you out there, everybody, to the winner circle, to our racers, to our viewers. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week for our GR2 series, round number 8. And we'll be back on Monday night for the GT45 Prototype Challenge mid-season event, starting with our Pro Division. We appreciate y'all. If you want to get involved in the PC fundraiser here at GT45 Gaming, we have the links provided where everything can be done in the Discord servers. We do appreciate everybody's support. Very humbled by this community all the time. It never ceases to amaze me. And today is, again, no different. Great racing from the Gran Turismo Racing community. I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. Thank you to the viewers for coming in and watching today. And remember, you all matter. Stay winning. And it's free to be kind. And those words come from Team Rad's Petrolhead, and they're great words. We love y'all. We'll catch y'all on the next one.